I actually know your name.
Doctrine for the Block with Vocab Malone. What's going on, party people in the place to be? I go by the name of the BK Apologists, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Happy Monday to each and all. I hope you're having a wonderful MLK day. If you're able to do some acts of service, that would be amazing. Not just for paying homage to Martin Luther King, but to the actual King of Kings, Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. And we need to serve on a daily basis. And speaking of serving, Vocab has been an amazing servant in the body for a long time. And we're going to discuss another initiative of him providing a service for us with this particular event known as Doctrine for the Block. But before we do that, let's just say hello and good afternoon to Mr. Vocab Malone. What's going on, sir?
How you doing, man? It's good to be here. Let me make sure I get the microphone on the right side. Which way does it? Oh, it sounds much better there, doesn't it? What's been happening, Alfredo? Before the show, I accidentally called him Alberto because I was thinking of Doctrine for the Block. He's one of the speakers. Right. What's been happening is I've been just focusing on finishing this new book called Street Level Apologetics now. I've been going. And so I kind of forgot how to do interviews and live stream and everything else. So I'm sorry about some of my roughness. Sorry about that.
It's all good, brother. It's we're family here. So, and also before we get into the meat and potatoes, we got to say what's up to the party people in the chat. We got Adrian Jones. We got the indelible Mr. Natu-D2. We got Delicala Apologetics. We got my main man, Mr. Green. We got Andrea Leon. We got 816 Apologia Salt. All right, we need more and more people to fill in. This is great. And as always, if you have not already, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that it's him again. And if you like how it goes down here at the BK Apologists, you can be a supporter of the movement by giving a nice donation via PayPal, which you will see the link pinned in the top of the chat. Or if you'd like to be a monthly supporter, you can become a patron, where you will get all sorts of interesting study aids to help you and to enhance your Bible study. So, all right, you looking more and more like yourself there, buddy?
I think I'm good. Once I put on the jacket like Mr. Rogers.
Oh Lord,
I'll be ready to begin the show for real. I think I'm complete. Just I might need to switch my shoes out later on, but we're good.
Right. You gotta put the skippies on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day, man.
Yes, sir. So let's start very general, and then we'll work our way into more of the details of this event. So what exactly, sir, is Doctrine for the Block?
Doctrine for the Block. There's the flyer. Hopefully, Alfredo, you'll be able to pull up the website in a little bit once we get going here.
Okay.
I'm hoping, but it's fortheblock.com, by the way. It's got a QR code and everything. So Doctrine for the Block is a urban apologetics conference, really done at the regional kind of local level. We mainly pull in speakers who can drive to the city of Phoenix. And that's just done because budgetary considerations. And I like to keep things kind of local too. There are exceptions, people who are just that down and who are willing to fly in and come through and do what they do. And I'll share those exceptions later as far as our guest speakers, because I'm referring mainly to our guest speakers. Now, we do have people who come from all parts of the country. The most central part is California and Arizona, to a certain extent, New Mexico and Colorado. But ours is a smaller conference, very homey, hospitable, kind of local flavor is the vibe we go for. And that's easy to pull off because we have a small building, and so everyone's crammed together. But we enjoy it. We love it. And we did not get to do it last year, like a lot of things canceled, right? But this year it's back. And so this is number 3, Doctrine for the Block. Number 3, 2022, February 24th through 27th. And I'm very excited about it. And I'm glad to tell people about it here.
Cool. So why even the title, Doctrine for the Block? What's the science behind the actual title?
Well, the church that hosts it does a weekly outreach every Wednesday called Bless the Block. And the Bless the Block is where people know that we give out food and clothes. And by God's grace, some really smart sisters primarily at the church have established some awesome connections. And we're able to give away almost everything brand new. Almost everything we are able to bless the people with is almost all brand new, with rare exceptions, which is amazing considering the size of the church is not huge. So Bless the Block is every Wednesday. It happens all the time. And then there's a big annual Bless the Block, right? And at that's usually in the fall, and that involves like a whole day affair. And take over the parking lot, music, food, games, everything all free, gospel presentations, et cetera, et cetera. You can see some of those. If you go back to October, you'll see some video and pictures from that popping up on my timelines and stuff like that. And I wanted to keep that theme because that is what the Reborn Church is known for, kind of giving the gospel feet, blessing the block, right? And sometimes when there's extra food or clothes and we didn't see some people, there are brothers and sisters. I'm not claiming I'm a saint and I'm one of them. But there are brothers and sisters who get in their car or walk because they know where some of the people stay at, I'll put it that way, and they bring stuff to them. So it's really literally Bless the Block. I wanted to keep that phraseology, that theme, that idea for the block, right? So got the website fortheblock.com and called it Doctrine for the Block. And then I like the way it goes, doc, block, because people are like, what about theology for the block or Bible for the block? I like the Doctrine for the Block. And so that's why we went with that. It's because that similar, what's that phrase called? Assonance or whatever it's called. It's not alliteration, but it's where, whatever it is.
It's an internal rhyme scheme.
Yeah, well, I liked it. So, I invented it and here we go. And it was kind of cool because check this out. The origin of it is fascinating to me. There was a number of brothers who, a lot of them came out of a prison life or something like that. And then got involved with some lowrider car clubs here in Phoenix, right? Big thing here in Phoenix, right? And a number of the brothers at our church or that were associated with, they had some car clubs, but they wanted to hit those guys where they were at and bring them to stuff and really introduce them to kind of, deeper levels in their understanding, not just saying, okay, that's good, you're out of that life, but really saying, okay, let's mature and grow together. And so we were like, how do we do that? Toyed around with different ideas. And one of the things that we had also wanted to do was an Urban Apologetics Conference. So the idea is let's put it together. Let's make something for those guys, but also for others like them. And let's invite them. And so if you look at the first couple of Doctrine for the Blocks, there's a heavy emphasis on the lowrider imagery. And that's not some like gimmick. That's because a number of the people who were like, let's do this, let's go to this, that's exactly what they're involved in. And so it was just like saying, hey, this is for you, This year we went with a more kind of Phoenixy, sunny type thing, But as far as the aesthetic, but that's where it came from and how it came, and everybody was just gun ho because I don't have a ton of ideas, but then again, sometimes I do have a ton of ideas. It's weird. Sometimes I just sit there like sounds good to me. Other times I'm like, so this is one of those times, Alfredo, where I was like, just had all these ideas. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so we just got to cracking, and we're gonna keep it going. And it's been really awesome. Everyone's been really excited about all the ones that have taken place. People look forward to it. Every time it's announced in church, everybody's like, yeah. So it's good. It's a good thing.
Cool. So let's look at the actual website. I'm
gonna break it down. I like this website too. I think Michael Williams did an excellent job.
Make this a little bigger. Let's see here. Boom. Does that help? Oh, now you can't see anything. Okay, hold on. I might have to make it a little smaller then. So, 1, 2.
Let's see. I'll make.
All right.
Changes. Change my stuff too, since we're all smaller. Zoom in, you know.
Okay. So February 24th to the 27th. Let's talk about some of the topics here. What are some topics for you personally you feel like that when you look at the flyer, it jumps out to you personally?
Well, you got to understand that I have a direct involvement in some way with every one of these. So they're all near and dear to my heart. I'm excited about them all. I love, like, I'm not even joking. But some stuff that hasn't been covered, so I'm especially excited about. You see on the top there, the conscious community. We've talked about Hebrew Israelites and we've mentioned conscious community before, but we've never really done something where we say, here's the cast of characters, here's some of the beliefs, and here's why a lot of them are wrong. But this year we've invited the sniper. The sniper. Dinu herself to come and speak on what the conscious community is and why it's wrong about a lot of stuff. Actually, on the title, it says why it's wrong about everything. We went with real YouTube-y titles this year. Bold, in your face, aggressive, you know? That's and crazy. Fun. So I'm excited about that conscious community class. And then you'll see one on there that says hermeneutics and Old Testament. I'm excited about that too. We got the brother Irvin, who I've known this man for years, and I just found out that everyone back home calls him Dougie. I'm like, bro, why aren't we calling you Dougie? That's your. He's like, yeah, that's what everyone calls me. So let's just call you Dougie, man. But anyways, Irvin, aka Swerve, aka Jihad Jr., because he was in Islamicize Me.
Jihad Jr.
Yeah, he was in Islamicize Me. He's in Moody Bible now, and he's really hitting the Old Testament hard. And he's like, bro, I'm realizing how important the Old Testament is for apologetics. I was like, bro, that's your joint. So he's doing how loving the Old Testament makes you a better apologist. So I'm super excited about that. And then you see in the middle where it says Christ myth towards the right-hand side, excited about that because that's going to be 2 sessions in a different way. Marty Clapp, he's an awesome guy. He's like a retired mailman, real just down-to-earth kind of guy, but knows his stuff. He's going to be given historical evidence for Jesus, you know, the whole did Jesus exist thing. And then I'm going to also be doing a session on is Jesus a ripoff of the pagan ideas, right? And so we're taking each kind of side of it. So I'm really excited about that as well. And then Carm, little C, she's coming and she's doing how the New Age is creeping into the church. So you see New Ages on there as well. So here's my strategy with these. Like, I don't know. People like their own ways. That's why they do it that way. Here's what I've learned, what I think is the way to do stuff. Okay. Don't only tell people what topics you want there. Don't assign them something. But that doesn't mean you don't have any clue either. Right. Find out what their current passion is right now, what they're after right now, what they're about right now, as far as the apologists and the speakers, and see if they can do something in that wheelhouse right now. Because even if it's something you might not have put on the docket, that's going to be your best, most passionate, fresh material from them. And so I'm like, hey, what are you loving right now? What are you hitting hard? Right. And I try to see if that will work into the broader scheme of the conference. That's how all the topics end up getting selected and chosen, is from that. So I'll say, you know, what are you in? What have you done before? Da da da. We just work through it together, talking on the phone, this and that. And so I'm excited. Like I was talking to Veda. Veda's coming through. He's like, oh, I got this one, how to disprove Jehovah's Witnesses using their own Bible. I was like, oh, yeah, man. Right up my alley. I brought the New World Translation with me just as a visual aid. Most people haven't seen the big New World. This is like the big one, you know, like the Encyclopedia edition. This is the one they hand out to you. Right. This is the one with all the, you know, this is a big New World Translation. So Veda's going to be doing that, which that's pretty awesome as well. You know, and Anthony Rogers is coming through. And he's going to be, again, we titled these bold. His is why the Reformation was right and Rome and Orthodoxy are still wrong. Amen, brother. And Anthony Rogers is awesome, so I know he's going to do a good job at that. And actually, there's a few on here we don't have. It's just kind of how the thing worked out. David Wood is coming through, and he's doing how to weaponize the Imago Dei for apologetics. Nice. So we got some very interesting angles and unique stuff And I'm really excited. Eddie Dalcour's written a book on the King James Version only controversy. He's from LA. He used to be a member of the Power Team. Big man, Sicilian. So we got me, Anthony, Edward Dalcour. 3 Sicilians going to run the show at this conference.
Nice.
David Wood is just a classic wasp hillbilly thing or whatever he was. But we're excited about this. And I'm just kidding, man. Someone's going to take that out of context.
Of course.
But I'm very excited about the topics, about the people coming. And I think that people are going to dig it. Miss Titus, too. Some might know her from Bodega. It's coming through, going to speak on Greek life. So a little bit about Freemasons, but a lot about fraternities, because, she's really specializing in that. You don't often hear about that. I was going to hit that hard. So that's really exciting as well.
Nice.
So, I mean, I'm naming almost all of them, but come on, man. What am I supposed to do?
No, those are great subjects. Absolutely. Now, and a more meta narrative type of question. Why are these type of conferences important?
Right. So there are apologetic conferences, and that's because people see the need to bring in people who have studied a particular subject or area well and speak on it for a great number of people to hear. And often these are grouped together. You get a number of speakers who are good on a topic, bring them together. Let's hit these topics. And the idea is to address important issues in a way that you can't always do, just say on a Sunday morning or something like that, right? So that's why a lot of conferences exist. But speaking about apologetics conferences, I think there's more apologetic conferences now than there ever has been. However, I think some of the big apologetic events of the past, there may have been bigger stuff because there was less happening. So now there's a lot, and they're a lot more specialized. And one of those things is urban apologetics, although there's not a ton of urban apologetics conferences. Ours has a distinctively Southwest Arizona flavor. It doesn't mean it's not relevant to Philly. Obviously, you can tell by the topics it is, but it's not done as if we're in Philly. We do it a certain kind of West Coast, Southwest West way as far as what we're going to talk about in the vibe and all that kind of stuff. But they're important because you want people to get exposed to this. You want to cut off bad ideas of the past, and these conferences can do this because these folks are cutting edge on these issues. So they tell you what's going on, maybe before you encounter it in a context where you feel unguarded. And so there's almost like inoculation, immunization. I guess that's a dirty word now with some people, but inoculation against bad ideas. And also it's just the exposure that helps. Let's say you go to one of these and some person's new to the faith and they don't really understand what's happening with some of it. Let's just say people are at different stages, right? The fact that you now know resources exist for these things, it is such an important thing for you to be made aware of. And a apologetics conference, specifically here, an urban apologetics conference, achieves those goals. So I think those are some of the reasons, but also, honestly, my goodness, we have a lot of fun, and Christians are allowed to have fun and enjoy their Christian liberty and enjoy their Christian community together. We certainly do that. So some of this is we're just glad to see people, and we get to have some really awesome fellowship. And I think that's important too, because the internet, you're over here, you're over there. Hey, we have the same ideas, good, but I'm in New York and I'm in LA, da da da. But then come together once a year at something like this, it's just extra sweet, So
wow.
Those are some of the reasons I'd say I need to drink of water. Go ahead, my friend. What do you like?
Well, speaking of water, the Kala apologetics would like to know if anyone will be spitting on people at the conference.
No, but there will be some MC spitting hot fire.
Uh-oh, really?
Friday night, after the sessions are done, we shut down the sessions, take a break, rearrange that stage. Regenerate and Justin Martyr from Chicago, theologically beast type rappers come 40 minutes of CHH. They're on there. If you go down on the website.
Well, I just took a screenshot so we can have a bigger.
Oh, okay. I was going to say they're on the, if you go down further, all this is at fortheblock.com. Almost everything I'm talking about, you can see on there. But we have musical guests this year,
nice,
which is epic. But no, not he's spitting on anybody unless you're in the front row and
Right.
somebody's got a thing, and then
Oh man. See,
accident-
now you made me want to go
accidental.
even more now. We're gonna have a cipher. Man, it's crazy. But here's a good question. Is this going to be virtual as well or just in person?
Well, the way it works is some of the sessions you'll be able to see live as they're happening on a couple of different YouTube channels. Mine will be one of them. And the Reborn Church's YouTube as well as Facebook will be another place where there'll be a lot of live stuff happening. That's one place. Another, and we'll put it when it's closer to time, we'll try to put where each session is going to be. We're still working out some of those details as far as virtually available. They're not going to cost, but there's still some details to work out as far as exact links. The breakout sessions, so these are not the ones on the main stage and not the plenary. This is something we're trying to work out with each individual. And so we're even saying, look, we don't have some kind of budget to have like 5 cameras because there's 5 breakouts that happen every time, right?
Right.
But I'm talking to each person like, hey, do you have a phone? Do you have this? Can you go live? Can you do? Because so we're trying to get each individual person to broadcast on their platform live, or at least record it and then put it back out on their stuff. So it's sort of scattered throughout, but on my channel and on the Reborn Church's channel, there will be some stuff, and we'll let you know that via social media, my social media and the Street Apologist social media, and also via the website fortheblock.com. So yes, but stay tuned to find out exactly where. Cool.
Is there any highlights from previous Doctrines for the Block that you'd like to share with us?
Let's see. I know someone in the live chat who's been there probably there has to be some better idea than some of the stuff I'll say. Let me mention a certain kind of highlight. Okay. So it's year 2 of the conference, right? And we're excited. It's going well. A lot of people coming up. We got some of the kinks worked out. But there's a couple of guys at the front, and they're like creating this issue with saying they had registered and paid, but their information was not in the system. And, you always want to think, okay, it's possible there's like an error or whatever. But at the same time, it didn't match. And so it was like, well, you haven't paid, right? Now, I forget all the exact details of how it went. I think one of our people was kind or something like that and gave him an extra ticket or ended up paying or something like that. But there was this claim we had paid, didn't pay. And I kind of went by when this was going on, kind of looked over the person, and I had some thoughts in my head, which I didn't share at the time. And I just kind of, just looked at the person, people involved, and just went on my merry way because I had a lot of stuff to do. Just kept those thoughts to myself. And then the same person appears in my class and another class, and okay, nothing major. That year I did say adios to white Jesus, which is Jesus didn't look European. He wasn't European. Right. That doesn't mean the Hebrew Israelites are correct about Revelation 1, but it does mean that we should say adios to white Jesus. Okay. A couple of days later, Sakari infiltrates Vocab Malone's Apologetics Conference. Hey, so what do they have to eat? Did they have any pork there? Oh, yeah, Vocab saw me and I attended this and da-da. Sakari. It was Sakari. Comes through incognito. Like I said, I had thoughts in my head, but I didn't say nothing. I'm just looking. Lies, basically, to try to get in for free, right? Wow. Just wanting to take advantage of Christians like how they do. And then there's a live stream about it, which had some truth elements and had lies in it as well. Not everything was true. It wasn't a big deal because it wasn't like something ultra scandalous or something like that. Right. We didn't have like strippers there or something like that. It wasn't none of that kind of thing going on, or, grinding or, dropping low or people inebriated. There wasn't anything like that. Right.
Right.
Gangster rap in the background, demeaning women, nothing like that. No fishnet, but that kind of thing has been known to happen at religious gatherings. And so there wasn't that. So there wasn't anything super scandalous for them to talk about. But, it was just like, okay, you're being dishonest. It's what you do. It's what you do. But that was kind of a funny thing because it just we let people know afterwards. And it was, our reaction is more to kind of get a kick out of it. Like, these guys, the thing is, here's what's interesting. It doesn't have to be that way. We're not like them. Right. You could say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And yeah, people might want to talk to you like extra, but you're going to be welcomed and loved and taken care of. And it's like you don't have to do that with us because we're not like that. Right. You can just come through and be cool. We'd be like, okay, it's all right, But it's all this, showmanship. But that was kind of a funny thing. And in that same year, when the conference ended, we shut down the like stuff with a freestyle. And I thought that was a lot of fun. The freestyle at the end, that was just like a fun time. Mm. And a couple times during that, we also did some kind of like, where we went out and about and got some food or whatever with like the people from the internet people. So we went to Harold's Chicken, which a lot of people might know from Chicago, but there's actually some folks moved from Chicago here to Phoenix. So we went and got some Harold's Chicken and some other stuff. So that was kind of fun. Just kind of the outing element of it is really cool because you get to know people and all that. And so that's a beautiful time as well. And I know there's some other stuff. I'm just not thinking of it right now off the top of my head. Okay. But those are a couple of things I would share.
Cool. So at this time, if anyone would like to ask a question about the conference, now will be the time. And while we're waiting for those questions to materialize, Vocab, can we share your vision for the future of the Doctrine for the Block conference?
Well, you'll never hear me say like, we want to make this big and we want to rent out this facility. I'm not smart enough for that, first of all. Second of all, I don't like stuff that's like that. I like to keep kind of stuff at just the right amount of people, type of thing. And keep it true to its spirit and its essence. So my hope and goal was to get more urban apologetic like. Just where we've really kind of got it down to the best way to present this stuff and the way to run a conference that has the right vibe as far as how people are treated while they're at the conference and also what we talk about and how we do it, right? And so I'm just hoping to constantly improve on that as we go. And I would like to see it become a thing where people realize the beauty of doing something that's pretty specialized, but they also realize the beauty of having a chance to fellowship with others and just realize, hey, let's go. So I've been to conferences before where it's like nonstop, like, and you don't have any time to breathe and then it's over. We've tried to build in little times of fellowship and free time and downtime as part of it. It's not just talk, see you later. We're trying to do something different with it because of what urban apologetics is and what it needs and what it means. And part of it's community identity. And we're not saying we provide all that in a little conference. Your identity ultimately is in Christ. But I'm saying trying to give the flavor of that truthfulness. And so I want to just grow and excel in that. But I said I will never talk about doing it all big and bad. However, I would love to see other people say, yo, the way you do it's pretty chill. Let's link up. Can I do a Doctor for the Block East Coast and let's do a Doctor for the Block Midwest? And I don't want to fly all over the country. Nothing. We'll just kind of be like, hey, here's the website. Here's what we do. Here's what you should do. You got it. Are you down with that? Okay, let's go. We'll support, to make it happen with whatever. And let's do the same kind of local, regional vibe and flavor version, but for where you're at. I would like to see that. That would be cool, but it would really depend on the right people because that's we have people who get the vision. Like they're not trying to be like, let's get the biggest speakers. We're not trying to get the biggest speakers. We're trying to get the right speakers at the right time and also be practical. Don't blow all your church budget or whatever you've got, whoever's funding this stuff. I mean, don't blow it all on an Urban Apologetics Conference. Be smart about it and say, okay, how can we do it, right? The people who get that and like, all right, I'll do this. I got this, right? I would love to see that. I would like to see that replicated and duplicated. And, I'm not talking about franchising and pay this or pay that. I'm just talking about let's work together and make it happen. You do yours, we do that would be fresh. That would be awesome to see. And like they will pop out, throughout the year. I would love to see that.
That would be dope. So we got a couple of questions here from Michelle Turner. Will BK Apologists be speaking? No.
Yeah, he might be speaking in his house with it to his wife.
Well, that I'll be doing on a constant basis. But I mean, I would have loved to, but I got this new gig I just started, and I don't know if I have enough time, but I would love to. So hopefully next year, or if behind the scenes we figure something out and we have another Doctrine of the Block this year, I mean, it could be possible, right? So
yes, it could,
but no, not at this point. Benjamin would like to know, how comfy would the chairs be at the conference? I have a bad hip.
This guy's serious. I feel like this guy is joking around. I feel like he's not that old. And I also feel like he's already been to the building where it's housed at, so he knows about the chairs. They're not pews like from the old school. You don't have to kneel. You're not sitting on the floor like in the mosque. But they're just basic, little chairs with they have the little cushion back,
right.
That has a little stuff, so the basic, I think they're fine. They're not lazy boy recliners, or nothing like that. But Benjamin, it's going to be great to see you. And I'm glad you're such a good sport. Everybody I know loves you, and you've helped me in numerous ways. You helped me in my understanding of issues and helped me in other ways too. And I appreciate that. And I look forward to spending time and kicking it with you. In fact, we got to get together and figure out some stuff here pretty soon, you and I. But yeah, it's going to be exciting.
He also would like to know, will Nate2D2 be hosting a panel on how to mod channels? That's actually I don't know if he's being funny, but I think that's a legit subject, though.
Yeah. Although it might have to be titled something like this: how to mod a channel if you're an adult who thinks like a 12-year-old.
Wow.
Because everything with Nate is backroom humor.
This is true, though.
It's like, do you have kids? Did they take over your...
But he's a good kid,
How do you overcome the handicap and convince people you're trustworthy and responsible when you think diarrhea is the funniest word to come down the English
and the
dictionary?
word but. Don't forget the word but.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to say it because then they'll say vocab said but.
But. Right.
We love you, Nate. Nate, by the way, actually, for real, though, Nate brings this. I didn't know this about Nate. I mean, I know it now. But he brings this camera, and he be getting these dope. He gets really good pictures of everything. So shout out to Nate on that. Are we going to show the website at some point? You got this?
Sure. I just want everybody to see. Yeah, cool. All right, hold on. I mean,
if you don't want to, it's your show.
No, of course I want to, bro.
But for real, yes, I want people to come to this conference. If someone's watching and they're like, well, that's in Phoenix, Arizona, what's that have to do with me? Because you should try to get an urban apologetics conference where you're at. That's what I'm talking about. And you should maybe even do some. When I say you, I don't know who you are, but someone needs to hear this. And we are in a DIY age. And when Christians say DIY, they don't literally mean by ourselves, but you know what I mean. My goodness, people, I'm saying I would love to see that. Like, let's do this. Let's have, and I'm not talking about naming it Doctrine for the Block. That was just a dream or a vision. Do what you do where you go. I would love to see people doing this, popping off, boom, boom, boom. Start out small. Have 3 speakers. Call it a conference. No one's going to sue you. And have it be a Friday night. And then next year you do a little something more. And watch what we can do in Jesus' name. And I'm not even joking. Let's check out that schedule.
Yeah, hold on.
Man, you don't know how to use the internet?
You're a funny guy, bro. Hold on. All right, here we go. All right,
so we have a pre-conference thing, Alfredo. So if you notice, the date says like, oh man, this is wrong. I need to talk to him. It said, look, it skips it. Well, no, it is wrong. It's not wrong. I'm sorry. It's not wrong. But let me start over. It's not wrong. Okay, so we have what's called a pre-conference. So on Wednesday, so if you're flying into town, you want to get your full money's worth, you want to experience the pre-conference, you come, and Wednesday night is kind of like a service that kicks it off. And it's more of a type of sermon Bible study vibe. It's going to be dope, but it's kicking it off. And you can also register in person, still getting the early registration, which I think is like $5 less. The conference is only like $20 or something like that. And you go, you get that, and you can do that. Now, we don't have it on the schedule, but on the 24th, we're going to be doing a special 1 hour and a half type thing to honor the life of Brother Jeff Cran. He's a Messianic Jewish apologist who recently died from COVID here in Phoenix. My brother, who I met at Talbot when I was in grad school. And the 24th, we're going to be doing like a special thing honoring him. So we're going to give his testimony, his bio, share some stuff about his life and his writings, because he just recently, actually earlier last year, had got his D-Min. So he's Dr. Jeff Cran. And then the Lord took him, and that's that, you know. And so we want to honor his legacy and all that, and as well as give people a chance to give to the family, because, you know, they're still hurting from it, and just kind of enjoy his legacy and honor, and then have time for people to say something. So that's the pre-conference, is Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, it kicks off officially, and boom, it begins with Anthony Rogers right out the gate. That's the first. That's a plenary session. That means no breakouts. Everyone's together. But before that, there's dinner. So part of what we do is try to have a hospitable element. We try to have food. We hope there's enough, but come early and increase your chances of getting fed. It's part of the conference stuff. Obviously, you can tip those ladies because they be hooking it up. But he's going to talk about Reformation in Rome. And Anthony's a super smart guy. David Wood once said, Anthony is about as smart as you can be without being crazy. I thought that was funny. I think it's about right. So then the breakouts start, and I'm doing one right there. You can see I mentioned earlier, and notice how it's broken down a little bit. Tells where they're going to be and what they're speaking on. Eric Manjarrez is going to do Acts 2:38. Is it text for baptism regeneration? C.L. Mitchell was the Trinity European doctrine. And then you see we got a tag team there, two brothers who regularly hit the streets, going to talk about how to be real life street apologists. And of course, Miss Titus too. Then we go back, have a little break. Then we have let's see, make sure I got everything right here. And then that's where we have our hip hop concert. We have our hip hop concert with Regenerate and Justin Moore, two brothers from Chicago, going to come and spit hot fire. And then we're going to get out of there so we can wake up a time in the morning to come in the morning. Mm-hmm. Come in the morning, have a little continental breakfast, you know. And then 10 a.m. breakout sessions begin. And Al-Fadi is going to come. He's the brother from Saudi Arabia, and he's the brother who's a former Muslim, and he's going to talk about absolute proof the Quran is corrupt. D-New, as I mentioned earlier, conscious community. James Umber is going to talk about the so-called lost gospels, you know, that old topic, kind of like the Gnostic gospels, you know. What about Gospel of Philip and Mary Magdalene, and Secret Gospel of Judas, and what about, you know, the Nag Hammadi texts, and what about that? He's going to do something really cool with that. You know, some people remember that from Da Vinci Code. And Oscar Dunlap is going to come. He's a former GOCC member. Go up just to back a little bit. I didn't get to cover his real quick. Just a little bit, brother. Oscar Dunlap, he's going to give his testimony plus doctrinal elements, how he was a Hebrew Israelite and why he left. So that's going to be fire. The brother was in GOCC for a minute, and now he's a street evangelist and apologist. Beautiful, beautiful story and awesome family. And of course, I mentioned we got Dougie dropping about Old Testament and apologetics. Skip, we got a little break there, and then got on the main stage. Eddie Dalcour, as I mentioned, the raw truth about the KJV. We got D-New on there twice. That is an error. I knew there was one error somewhere on here. I got to fix that error and find out who's missing it, because since she's duplicated. We're going to do something we haven't done before. Stan Meyer, he works with Jews for Jesus. He's going to talk about discipling the new believer in Christ. It's hard to fit everything you want to at a conference, but we did want to take an opportunity to have an element of discipleship here, because we talk a lot about evangelism at these conferences. Mm-hmm. And Stan Meyer's really good on that. And Carm, as I mentioned as well, in Veda. And then I'm missing somebody since D-News duplicated that, but I now off the top of the head I forget who who it is. And then we've got the closing one right after lunch is David Wood about how to take the Imago Dei and use it for apologetics, and it's going to be beautiful. We close out with some, you know, kind of fun and games, and then maybe Saturday, maybe we'll go to the Italian American Festival if we have some free time in the night that's taking place downtown Phoenix. Just happens to be on the same night. Might go check the Italian American Festival out that's taking place downtown. It's kind of a fun thing. That's not on the schedule, but that's that little fun stuff. And if you go to the very top, I know it's kind of out of order, but we kind of had to do it this way. Oh, it's not there. Well, okay. Can you go to the first page, the very first page? Sunday morning is kind of the post-conference. Not quite an after party, but there's a post-conference. If you just go to the main page where it doesn't say conference schedule, but like the opening page.
Yeah. Hold on for a minute.
And Pastor Gabe, the pastor of Reborn Church, who has, who's really responsible in a lot of ways for this happening. He's going to talk about the importance of really the mandate of keeping it in context. So sermon on how to interpret the Bible like Jesus did, and hermeneutics and context and so that's a good way to close it, because this year's theme is, we have a theme every year. This year's theme is keeping it in context. And so Mike Williams begins the session that way on Wednesday for the pre-conference, and we close that with the post-conference with the importance, the mandate of keeping it in context when it comes to biblical interpretation, because good hermeneutics kill bad doctrine. Yeah, that's Pastor Gabe right there. And you can see what some of the speakers look like. That's Mike. He's the brother who did the website. He kills the game on that. Can we take a look at the rest of our speakers? We got some. Look at Anthony, Roger, Alberto, and Matthew. Look at them. Vocab. Got Justin Martyr, Regenerate. I love seeing these because it's such a cast of characters. Miss Titus 2, C.L. Mitchell, Eric Manjarrez. Nice. Who else we got up in here? James Alfati D. New. How y'all doing? And they got Irvin, Oscar, and Edward Dalcour. Veda, Stanmeyer, Marty. That's Marty's session was missing. I just realized that his session is missing. We'll get you, Marty. Don't worry. And then we got Karim, David, and Rob. Rob is the host. Rob Atrez. He's the brother who hosts it. Kind of, hey, welcome to Doctor for the Block. Hey, peace out. He's the guy who keeps everything smooth. He's an MC, so he can do that. And he's a great brother. He also is powerful teacher of the Word of God. So that's what's up, man. And we got a little list. If you look there in the middle, it says accommodations. We have given you. One of the hallmarks of what we do is want to show hospitality, because it's component to the culture of where we're at, and it's also what Christians should do. And so the accommodations say we'll give you some hotels where to stay at, because you don't want to stay in the hotels immediately in the area. And so we give you some others. Doesn't mean they're all the greatest, but they're better than the ones immediately in the area. Do not stay in the ones immediately in the area. You'll say, oh, look how close it is. Look how cheap it is. Do not stay in those. Stay in one of these. And even these are not perfect, but they're better than what you would get. Trust. And then transportation. So, tell you how to the rent a car, where it is in city, fuel, where to kick your gas. We're a small conference, but we try to pull out all the stops and say, hey, here's where you can go, and even how far it is from everything. See where it says fuel. That's where
this might be a dumb question, but you guys got Uber over there, right?
Yeah. I didn't put that on there, but we probably should. Okay. We'll put that on there, but yeah, we got all that, Uber and Lyft and all those kind of things. And then food, of course. So some suggested restaurants in the area that aren't chains. That was what we wanted to go for, places that are in the area. Some of these I do not sign off on. Just let me tell everyone, Sushi Sonora is what some brothers in the church like. I do not sign off on that. I do not co-sign it. I put it on here by popular pressure. This is what some brothers of the church like. They be eating some weird stuff, in my opinion. It's like, I'm sorry. It's if you're into Mexican seafood, then I guess sushi. And same thing with Mi Pueblo. Those two places, hey, that's okay. That's some brothers in the church, but I put that on there for them. Every other place I'm with. But yeah. Well, actually, I don't know about Fagami. I put that on there based upon Mike's recommendation, but I don't trust the recommendation. So I'm telling you, there's 3 on here. Other people said are the bomb. I don't know about 100% for sure. But now look, you don't have to search and scan. We're showing you where some fun places are. But watch out, some of these places like Lolo's, big old line. So you got to maybe call ahead, see what's popping. And then fun, hey, where some of the museums and little parks in the area stuff. These are kind of farther out. They're not going to be right in our area, but show you kind of where to go that's somewhat close. And then you can register right there, register in advance. Please do that. It helps us know who's coming. And that's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice little website. You see the color scheme.
Nice. So any
what?
Just do Slumber Party and Vocab Studio. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Done.
I mean, if you want to make them. I mean,
a couple years ago. That's just for the elect. That's not just for the regular elect.
Yeah, that's for the elect. That's right. Actually, a couple years ago, I had the elect come over to my house, and I made them all espressos.
Nice.
Made them all lattes.
I like a good espresso. Yeah.
Yeah, I was working the whole time, though, so I didn't really get to have any fun talking with anybody. Everyone's all talking. I'm like slaving away.
Sure. Treasure in heaven. Treasure in heaven, brother.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, because I told the internet now. God's like, oh, I was going to give you a roar for that latte, but sorry.
Now that you're bragging about it. Man. So with that being said, Mr. Malone, any if it's one thing people you want for them to have in their head after everything that we said about this event? What's the one thing, the hook, that you hope will help people really want to come and participate in this event?
The gospel of Jesus Christ has answers that are consistent to the culture's questions, and the answers are life-changing. And we want that to show up even as you attend the conference. I want you to see the answers, but also see how your worldview affects how you are, how you act. And that's why, this ties in directly to the whole concept of bless the block. So if you came the Wednesday after this conference is over, you'd find people giving out food and clothes, blessing the block. And the reason why is because of the doctrine for the block.
Mm-hmm.
So just that the gospel is really for all of life. That's what I want people to really go away with and realize, like, from your head to your heart and all that in between, God's got you.
Amen. And with that being said, Vocab Malone and BK sign out. Peace.